everyone, hope this video finds you all well and in good health. Thank you Food Tech Summit for having me here to participate in your Master Talks. Very happy to share some insights and learning that happened to us at NotCo, especially during this new normal times. The topic of this Master Talk is going to be innovation, culture, and ways of working. The new normal we are living has brought a lot of questions with it. How much attention has the topic people and culture received in your company lately? And do you believe to have the best ways of working in place to face these new challenges? Do we need to be physically in the same room to produce and be productive? And how do you engage innovation in your company? I bet you have asked yourselves the same questions. A way we found to tackle them in NotCo is what I want to share with you today. Before we start, let me introduce NotCo, a multinational food tech that produces plant-based food using AI to help develop its products, such as milk, mayo, ice cream. Just saying what NotCo is sounds super innovative, right? So we asked ourselves, how can we bring innovation not only through our products, but also in our workspace? That's when, after benchmarks and researches, the words Agile and Scrum came up. For those who are not familiar with it, the term Agile and Scrum are well known mostly in tech environments. An Agile culture is one that has an adopted style, approach, community that is tolerant to failure, willing to test hypotheses, and able to adjust to changing market conditions as it deems necessary. In other words, it's exactly what we need in the times we are facing, a define, build, release method. But it's not a common culture and ways of working for the food industry. So we thought, why not at NotCo, and did our own adaptation of it. So for those who have heard of this term, bear in mind that this will be a presentation of NotCo's adaptation and what fits us best in the time of need. So, how does it work? I picked 3 topics to explain the essence of it. First, team structures. Second, OKRs. And third, but not least, execution plus meeting structures. First topic, team structures. The difference here versus the classic food industry format is that teams are more multifunctional. They have less hierarchy and are more autonomous. But most importantly, they have the client at the center of everything they think. The slide you are seeing now is an example of how teams are organized. You have chapters, which for us at NotCo could be the same word as functional teams, such as marketing, operations, finance. And then you have the squads. Squads are multifunctional teams that have representatives from each chapter and also a leader to organize, keep everybody on track, and give visibility. A squad in our case can be for products, for example. We have a Not Mayo squad. So what is important here and what is the biggest difference versus a project mindset, again, in our case? As long as the squads have clear what is they need to deliver and how and who they need to share these decision making with, they are 100% owner of the product strategy, end to end, always having the client at the center of all their decisions. So if, for example, our Not Mayo squad decides a new flavor or a change of communication is needed, as long as it's aligned with the company OKR and it's client-centric, then they have a white canvas. Which brings us to our second point, OKRs. OKRs stand for Objective Key Results, which in other words are our famous KPIs, but for a bigger sense of why things are done and also with a very strategic cycle of definition. The important thing here is that the team participants, they need to be part of the definition and creation so that they can feel part of why and what is being done. So say your company is starting the next year's plan. Ideally, you first need to understand where you want to go and then define how, as you see in the slide below. So, what is it that I want to achieve? And key results, KR. How do I measure my progress to know that I'm on the right track? So measuring progress is super important in this type of culture. Some defend that the objective, the O of the OKR, needs to be ambitious. Others say that it needs to be more grounded. Whichever you decide, make sure that everybody is comfortable with it and participates. That was a big learning for us here at NotCo. After you define your company's OKRs, each squad then has a task to define their sets of OKRs of how they will contribute to the roadmap. The highlight here are the sprints. Which brings us to our last topic, execution and meeting structures. If your squad has a clear goal of where they need to finish the year, that's great. But if you can break it up into trimesters, that's even better. So you can correct and adapt quickly as you go by. So here is an example of a squad progress. First, we have our own annual roadmap definition, which we talked before. Then, ideally, the squad defines what their own OKRs are and breaks it up into quarters, presenting that to the squad. So the leader is responsible for that. After you have this definition, you do the quarter kickoff. What is the quarter kickoff? Saying exactly what are the OKRs I want to achieve in that quarter. And then monthly review as you are going by. Ideally, at NotCo, we use weekly meetings to monitor the progress, and then as we close the month, we do a retro, seeing how our OKR went by. This should be done for all the quarters, and visibility should be given in all points. So I would say this point is where communication is mostly relevant, and defining who participates in what and what should be given light to is very important. That would be the Agile culture and Scrum in a nutshell, again, as we use it at NotCo. Hopefully I was able to quickly cover this topic and answer some questions. There are many details more that I could share with you, and hopefully I got you interested enough to go after more information. The important thing here to understand is what works better for your company, and make sure that you give space to all your employees to give their opinion. There isn't a one-size-fits-all, so researching benchmarks and listening to your team members is crucial. If you like the topic and you want to learn more, my suggestion that for ways of working and culture, you deep dive into Spotify's culture, which was a big benchmark for us. And for innovation, I strongly recommend Adam Grant's book, The Originals. Thank you and stay safe.